wanna see you move.
Hey, and welcome everybody to Backstage Pass with AViiO on this, oh my God, wonderful Sunday, the 29th of November. And you know, we're doing Backstage Pass with AViiO as a live show. And because of that, we have a very special guest today. He is the manager of St. Jerome Music. He has been a musician for over 30 years. He has, I think, more than 30 chart placements with his music. He has a catalog of over 80 songs, I think, currently. And he is one of the longest-running artists on Count Zero Records. I'm talking, of course, about Cant the Blues Man. And the reason why I'm smiling and the reason why I'm saying this is a live show is because 20 seconds before the show went live, actually before the pre-roll clip finished, Ken just got completely kicked out of our studio connection and is now trying to get back with us. So currently, we don't have him on the line, which means we're currently trying to remedy that problem and get Ken Tucker back on the line with us on here to the studio. Thank you so much for tuning in on this wonderful Sunday. I want to acknowledge all my fans and followers on Twitch, especially that's twitch.tv/record label boss. If you want to chat with us, please go to Twitch. You'll be able to, chat with Ken and me if we ever get him in here. And I'm going to see if I can actually get him now back on the show. And he's probably going to try to do it either by phone or by laptop or by any means necessary. So what I'm going to do is, for the people that don't know Ken Tucker as an artist, but we're not interviewing him as an artist today, we're interviewing him as head of St. Jerome Music, I'm going to play a song from his charting album that's Come On Over. La 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 la. Let me see. Oh, where are they? And that is the beauty of a live show. Oh my God. I'm going to play you from Ken Tucker, a song that is on the charting album Come On Over, which was number 1 in the Cypress Blues charts. It was number 80 in the Japanese charts. It was number 60 to 65 in various other charts. And it got around 30 chart placements. And I'm going to play you Junkyard Hot Rod while I'm trying to get Ken back on the show. And things working.
'Cause it's all I need to score a ride as sweet as can be. Alice junkyard, there's a GTO, a little TLC, and I can make her go. She's my junkyard hot rod. She's my junkyard hot rod. Oh, she's my junkyard hot rod. Oh, you know what I mean. Or check the timing and change the plugs. I'm working out all the bugs. I check the motor and suspension too. I'll show you what this sled can do. She's my junkyard hot rod. She's my junkyard hot rod. Oh, she's my junkyard hot rod. Well, you know what I mean. I guess I'll just use me a butter knife. I say you know what I mean. When I drive by, she looks like hell, but she can fly. I'll rev the motor and spin the wheels. Gonna set those daughters back on their heels. She's my junkyard hot rod. Oh, she's my junkyard hot rod. Oh, she's my junkyard hot rod. Oh, she's my junkyard hot rod, yeah. You know what I mean. I say you know what I mean. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, and we are back. Woo. We're back with no Ken Tucker, and that still is an ongoing issue at the show. which actually has never happened to us before, but it gives me an opportunity to talk to you about something else I wanted to talk to you about. Since you're on here on Backstage Pass with AViiO, I wanted to tell you about the latest thing that we did on our record label, but I kind of wanted it to be a little bit further into the show rather than at the very beginning of the show, so there you go. That's live for you. I think I'm getting the hang of becoming a live broadcaster. So, a while back, people asked us, many times people ask us, what can we do in order to prevent copyright strikes when we create digital content? And I know that some of you are digital content creators and some of you are not, but this is something that will be interesting for all of you. We have, over the last 6 months, been working on creating a new licensing model and access to our music for creators and for private people. We call it Count Zero Records Premium Music, and it's essentially a subscription-based model where you can, for a very small fee, from $2.99, $3.99, $4.99 a month, get access to our songs in an extremely convenient way, with many advantages, such as that you get the songs before they're released and many other things. But if you're a content creator, you pay, I think, $1 or $2 more a month, and you'll get these songs licensed to you, which means that you'll be able to use these songs whenever you're creating content and whenever you're doing a Twitch stream, you're doing a YouTube stream, you want to make a video, you want to make some advertisements, etc. This license has some limitations in that you are not allowed to use it if you have more than 100 viewers. There's actually a bigger license for that. So if you have more than 100 CCU, concurrent users, there's a bigger license. But you can license all of our music in about 5 seconds and then use it for all your digital creations. Now, what makes this different than the offers of other services like Monstercat, etc., is that we are not licensing you music that is unreleased, that is not on Spotify, and that is not actual music, but actually is amateur music sold entirely to the service. We are letting you license music that is actually in the charts that people have made, and that is not background music or very simply created EDM instrumental music. We're actually licensing you real music in various genres, which means you'll be able to get rap and hip-hop, you'll be able to get R&B, you'll be able to get EDM, you'll be able to get country music, Christian music, romantic music, singer-songwriter, and all kinds of stuff, either for you to enjoy personally or for you to use professionally. And I'm going to show you how that works with a little screen share, I think. That's right, share screen. How does that work? The beauties of live music, of live streaming never cease to amaze me. Hold on, there you go. Okay, I'm gonna do it like this. I should have probably shared the upper screen. That wasn't totally smart. All right, what's on the upper screen? Twitch. Okay. Let's share that. I just found out that is not a good idea either. Let's share the left screen then. And the left screen has OBS. Yeah, I don't need that. I can easily forfeit an OBS window. All right. There you go. So if you're looking at our webpage, you'll be able to see that we have all these the various new releases on here, and all of the stuff that you might be interested in, and you'll find a new option that is called Premium Music. If you click on Premium Music, a window will pop up with the Premium Music and some playlists, and it will say Get Premium, and you'll be able to go to the offer of Premium Music, and there's various subscription-based products in and around Premium Music where you'll be able to sign up immediately and then you can access all of these songs. Now, if you wanna use these songs for your creation, same thing, very easy. You essentially log in. Yeah, that's not me. That's not me either. Okay. And you'll click on here. And now I'm reloading it because I just logged in. And for everybody who is a streamer or a content creator, you will immediately get to the very extensive playlist in its own window. And you'll be able to play any song that is in our current program from here and use it live on your show, which means you don't have to download anything, you don't have to install anything, you don't have to update anything. All the new stuff automatically goes to these playlists. Everything is on there at least 14 days before it comes to Spotify or Apple, and it's available to you at costs of under $10, depending on the licensing model you choose and how many viewers you have in your digital creations a month. It takes literally 5 minutes to do the subscription, and you'll immediately have 200 charting and great songs at your fingertips for your digital creations. You don't need to do anything. You just subscribe to the premium music service, and then you click the link Premium Music right here, and the window will pop up with all of the covers and all of the songs. And on here, you'll also have the ability to loop, to pause, to make it louder, make it more quiet. So it is it's an entire player as well. And all you need to do is open that window. Immediately the newest music loads, and you can play it in the background of your stream, and you're fine. That's it. So in 10 minutes, you can move from getting a lot of DMCA copyright strikes and having a lot of problems with authorities about copyrights as a digital creator to somebody that has hundreds of songs, dozens of charting songs, everything ready for you to get creative in 5 minutes with minimal costs, with costs that are less than going to McDonald's once a month. And I think that product is really cool. If you want to check it out, just go to our webpage and check out our premium music offer. I think you'll find it very interesting. And if some of your friends or digital creators, they're probably really interested in it as well. It is something that we made not necessarily to make lots of money with, but in order to counter the arguments that labels are choking the creativity. We don't want to choke anybody's creativity. We want our artists to be paid fairly, but we also don't want to stifle the growth of digital creators by making them pay huge amount of fees. And as a label, we are entitled to do our own licensing. So no matter what anybody tells you, when you license your music from us, you're safe. So all you need is 5 minutes and $5, and you're ready to create digital content. Thank you for listening to me about that exciting new program I've been working on for half a year until everything works, including the licensing and everything. It was quite a thing. And now I see that Ken has somehow made it in, and we're going to bring him in. Hey, Ken, what the hell?
I don't know, man. It's this digital nonsense I have so much trouble with. I finally got everything going. Yeah.
Good. What are you doing? What are you smoking, man?
Well, it's typical tobacco. Nothing crazy.
It's typical tobacco. Nothing crazy. I'm very happy to hear that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start this show, right?
Let's get the road on the show, brother.
Let's get the road on the show. So I just played your Junkyard Hot Rod music video, and I think a lot of people know who you are because you're like super famous and everything.
Oh, that's good.
Right? Huh?
Well, not in my hometown. I'm not. No one gives a crap what I do there.
Well, they say what's the song? The prophet is home. The prophet at home isn't worth anything.
Yeah, the prophet has no honor in his hometown.
Oh yeah, see, I totally butchered it, but you know the right. You know that. You know it. You know it.
Well, I just think there's only 40. Whatever.
There's only what?
But you played my song. There's only 4,500 people in my hometown, so it really doesn't matter.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Your connection is
right.
somewhat okay, somewhat not okay. Okay,
Here's my
Gaetano says
right
don't
here.
smoke. Huh?
Here's my connection right here.
You're going through the phone? Hello? Nope. Not hearing you. Hello?
Hello.
Hello? I guess you can't hear me. What are you pointing to? The microphone? Is it off?
No.
Because I can hear stuff moving on your laptop.
Oh Jesus! Can you hear me at all?
Yes, I can hear you just
fine. I can hear you fine. I hear you fine. Well, then we're all right.
Okay.
All right, I hear you.
So, all right. So we had you on the last show as the artist Ken Tucker, and I thought we'll bring you on here because we had last weekend, I think, we had Tanya on from Moody Cactus Records.
Yes.
And some of our listeners might know, or some might not know, that you are the head of St. Jerome Music. And so I figured I'll bring you on in that function.
All right.
And ask you, what is St. Jerome Music?
It's a subsidiary of Cant Records. It's a little record label that you helped me put together. And our main focus is not so much genre specific as it is good music specific and talent specific. I like to focus on songwriters specifically, good songwriters, and if I like to focus on really good singers too, but it's just like there's a small label that's carried by a bigger one, and we just do what we can to make good music and put out good content. Want to be real picky about what I put on there because I don't want to have 40 or 50 artists that I can't donate all my I can't donate my attention. I can't focus my attention.
Something to them.
Here, have my attention. I want to be able to delegate my attention and fairly to all my artists. So I want to have a bunch of people and that are doing a bunch of different things, and I'm running around like a crazy person trying to help everybody. So I'm limiting my roster to about 10 or 11 right now until we get things really rolling.
Okay, and you're working mostly with local artists, with people that are
no, actually there's a girl from New York City who we're getting ready to sign. Our New York City area.
Don't say any names, it's secret.
No, it's secret. It's secret. And it's not Yoko Ono, so don't worry about that.
It's not Yoko Ono. I thought that we were gonna sign her up.
Well, you should. You should.
We totally should.
Guy from Kentucky who I'm talking to, and I'm talking to another famous singer from the '80s, lives in Champaign, Illinois area, and so we're working that direction right now. But most of the artists I started with were people I've known for years and then done music with for years, and I know they put out great music and they're hardworking people, and they're someone who I wouldn't have to hold their hands and and kind of be a babysitter. I don't want to be a babysitter.
Ding! Oh, I think you got a message. And can you move the camera so your head's not cut off? That kind of like really bothers me when your head is.
Is that better? I'm going to turn my notifications down.
See, now your
head. And it was Tanya.
Your whole head is visible. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's sending me stuff all the time.
Who?
Tanya.
Oh yeah, she's very, very busy. She's always sending me something, and it's usually very, very long texts with 500 links to some artist's material and what I think about it. So she's extremely diligent and hardworking woman, and great manager, by the way. Hey Tanya, how you doing? I hadn't had time to look at all these things that you sent me, those wonderful things. But I promise you I will, before the meeting, look through all of them.
Well, yes, do that.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah, well,
it's kind of like my job. And yours too.
Yeah. I'll look through it too.
All right, somebody says they lost audio. Do you have audio back, Gaetano? Is it good? Okay, I don't know. So, Ken, where are you? You're like somewhere in Florida, right?
Yeah, I'm up around Panama, down around Panama City right now. My son's current house, and just visiting for the holidays. And so, yeah, hanging out with my son and my son and his girl, and just doing the family thing right now.
Okay. I see. So you are you would probably okay, every time I ask you what kind of artist you are and when you self-describe, you always say you're a blues artist. But most people, when they listen to your music, they say that you're a country artist. What do you have to say about that? I always wanted that.
It all depends on the song they listen to. I mean, if they don't listen to one song, like say Junkyard Hot Rod, that's kind of a rockabilly southern rock kind of deal. So I can see that distinction. But if they listen to my whole catalog, they'll understand what I'm talking about.
Okay. You're a bit frozen here. And I think maybe he left us again. All right, guys. That's really awesome. Okay. While we are figuring this out. Yep. Boof. There he goes. Boing. Dropped out. All right. I'm going to play another song, which Ken Tucker actually wrote, and on which he played the guitar, and which is a band where he was a co-songwriter, guitar player, I think even bass player. That band is called Compassion Has Gone to the Dogs. They've recently, a few months ago, released an album on our label, and the song is called I Want to Look Like Jesus. I'm going to play it to you, and I'm going to pray to Jesus that I'm going to find Ken in the meanwhile.
This hippie thing, long hair, long beard, boy, you're looking strange. You've changed your looks and you've changed your speech. Do you really want to be a freak? You said, Dad, I don't go lie, so I'm gonna look you right in the eye. You wanna know what's my strange behavior? I wanna look just like my Savior.
And that was I Want to Look Like Jesus by Moreover's new trick. The album is called Compassion Has Gone to the Dogs. And we're going to bring in Kenny, this time from a different line. Hello. Okay.
Hello, how are you? Now we're using my phone.
You're using your phone. That's how you look. You look like something from Minecraft.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Well, you know what? If my computer was, I'm going to have to defrag my computer. It's going to have to be. So
I think you're gonna need to throw the computer over the wall and get a new one.
No, that's a good computer. At least I've only not had it very long, but I think it's a connection is just not the greatest.
Yeah, it's an issue. That's right. All right, so we were talking about the crossover line between blues and country.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people like blues, and especially in places like Japan, where I recently okayed a Japanese blues player who might be interesting for you. By the way,
oh, cool,
yeah. To talk with him. And country seems to be more like what people want to hear in terms of commercial music.
Yeah, and that's understandable, especially modern country, because it's more pop than anything.
Sorry, what?
Modern country, especially because it's more pop than anything.
Yeah, it's very poppy, is it? All right, you got it lit. You got it lit. You think you got it?
Think so.
All right. I'm trying to. Wow, that connection is really interesting. So, for your label, did you think that you were? I mean, how wide is the net that you want to cast? I mean, obviously, country music is still something that sells really well.
Yeah, I mean,
but how wide of a net do you want to cast? Do you want to go into bluegrass or
anything that is done well, I'm open to. I mean, I'm not going to limit it on a genre basis. I want to sign artists who make great music regardless of the genre.
So if you want, you got to do electronic music and hip hop.
If necessary. I mean, if I have to, I will. I mean, no, I would if it's something, but you got to understand too, I'm limited on my knowledge with that. I have to educate myself in that field to determine what is and isn't good in that specific genre. I really don't. I can't tell you what good and bad rap is. I have no idea. My son will listen to something, and I was like, well, that sounds all right to me. He goes, oh no, that's not that good. Here's why. He'll explain it to me. He'll play something. Well, now this is good rap. He play something else, and I'm just like, it all sounds the same to me. But it's not. It's just an uneducated ear on my part. Versus I can listen to a blues artist and tell if they're any good or not instantly within like the first 2 or 3 measures. I can tell if they're worth a crap. Rap, no, and electronica. I mean, I don't like. It's not my bag, but I mean, it's popular. I can't do popularity of electronic music. I just can say it's not something I get into. But with that being said, I'm not against giving that a shot.
And Gaetano says, Ken, you really need to stop smoking.
Yeah, I know. I'll stop after this one.
You'll stop after this one. That's a good idea to have.
Until I light another one, then I'll stop after that one.
Okay. Another question I have is how do prospective artists get in touch with you? Are you recruiting publicly, or are you just approaching people that you like?
At the moment, I'm not accepting demos because I don't think I'm at the place where I can do that. And I need to get some I need to get some experience behind me and to know what know the mechanics of the industry. I mean, I know it as an artist, but as a record label guy, that's another story. I need to learn more, and I'm waiting till I get to that point where I'm only accepting submissions. Right now, I'm approaching people who I find.
Yeah, and that kind of like is like people that you know or that are in and around your, I don't know, personal sphere of influence or something.
Well, that's how it started. Yes. Now I'm if I hear an artist who I've never met that I really think can do a good job, I'll approach him. But
Okay, but you,
I've kind of ran
yeah,
out of my I haven't ran out of people from my sphere of influence or my people I know, but there are only a few of them that I wanted to extend the opportunity, and I've already done that. And
okay, yeah,
now some of them are asking me why I haven't. Like, there's a couple people asking one of my artists, "How did you get Count Zero and St. Georgia, blah blah blah?" And I get him saying, "Man, they're all asking me about getting signed by you. What do I say?" I say, "Tell them that just tell them that I approached you. Say the record company approached me. Just don't mention my name." but but at this point, like I said, I approached like this young lady from New York. I heard her on Facebook with a bunch of other artists a couple of them who I have known before, and I watched her videos and thought she can really sing. She writes great songs. She's got a lot of product, a lot of content. It's all good. I haven't heard one bad song from her yet. She puts out great videos. She got a great band, great songs. I mean, so I approached her and asked her if she had a record company she was with. She said no. I said, well, would you be willing to talk to us? I said yes. And so Tanya and I had a meeting with her on the phone. And next thing we're going to do is have a meeting with you.
Excellent. Is that the meeting that we're having on Wednesday? Or
yeah, and tomorrow we might have one with an old rock star buddy of mine who I've known for about 25 years, and he's wanting to come out of semi-retirement. Well, he wants to come back into playing music and recording it on a bigger level than he's doing now. So he retired from rock and roll and just started living a regular life, which he likes, and he does really good for himself. But we're talking about actually asked him I thought about recording some more music and getting music on a bigger platform, and he said, well, I record some and I put it on this platform and this platform. I said, that's fine if that's all you want to do. But if you want to reach an audience like 100 times bigger than that, we can talk. And so he liked the idea. And so, again, Tanya and I talked to him. Tanya and I talked to him the day before yesterday. And so I'm going to see about him and you and I and Tanya having a meeting.
Yeah, it seems to me that in the past 2 months or so, or 3, there's a lot of people who are either were famous once or they're a bit older or they're no longer on the labels, but they're significant artists and they're becoming interested in doing something with us. I found that to be very interesting. And I didn't really know why that was, but I'm guessing that it's very difficult for them once they get dropped by a major label to get back into a contract.
Well, I think a lot of them who might have got disillusioned with major label restrictions and their politics and their kind of what I want to say, their dictatorial type of way of doing stuff, and they went out on their own. So, like this one gentleman we talked to last week, he's still very active. He's just not with a major label. He's not with any label.
Mm-hmm.
And but he's interested. The other guy I'm talking about, he works a regular job.
Yeah.
And he does pretty good with it. But he just he's been doing his own production and his own management, his own distribution for a long time, and he's got as far as he can. And when we were talking,
yeah,
go ahead.
No, I thought that there always comes a point in every artist's career where they can't get ahead anymore because they've exhausted all of the options that they know. And that is very obvious to me, but it's very much not obvious to the artists, because I have come to find out that a lot of artists believe that they have the same tools available like any label has available, and that's actually not true. It's just that they don't know what all they could do if they were with a label, or what a label can do for them. Because in my experience, when I first started a label and I got to a certain size, all of a sudden doors were opening that before I didn't even know existed. So the reason why I was limited as an artist was because I didn't even know what labels all do to promote. I mean, the whole DJ thing, and you can't even get on the site if you're not a label. They only accept, when you send music to DJs, and the best DJ sites don't accept anybody that's not a label, and they will actually check if you're a constituted company, and only then can you come on. And so, sorry, a little bit of rant, but I know what you're saying.
Oh, and some of these artists who now a vast majority of self-produced artists go to these internet distribution sites, which are fine. Yeah. They serve a great purpose, and I think they're fine. But when they get there, all of a sudden they get on, say, iHeartRadio or SoundCloud or some other distribution outlet through them. All of a sudden they think they're a major player, and they're not.
No, they're not.
And there's only these outlets are limited purposefully.
Absolutely.
On the amount of distribution and the amount of radio play they get. And I mean, some people can do real good with them, but that is the vast, vast minority. Yes. And if you have good songs and you make quality content, then if you are just on those particular sites only, you're missing out on 99.9% of the music purchasing public. Yeah. And most of these people most of their sales go to family and friends through that. It doesn't go to the buyers aren't people in other countries who they never met.
That's right. And I always compare it when people say, I have published this, this music is in the store. It's like when somebody says I published a book, but what they really did is they went to the copy shop and took copies of their manuscript, then stamped it together, clamped it together, and are now selling it in the parking lot. That is exactly what happens on these websites. It is the lowest form of possible of distribution. You could probably do it yourself. But, I mean, things like CD Baby that I like, CD Baby is okay. They do give you a very basic service in that they put you in the 10 biggest stores and then some smaller ones. And that's it. There is no publishing involved. There's no, anything that comes even close to market.
Is there any promotion with that other than basic?
No, because
I mean, they might. I imagine they might slap your cover on some kind of page with about 100 other people.
No,
they don't even do that.
Even do that.
Wow.
No, there's nothing. Whenever you go to DistroKid, TuneCore, CD Baby, all of these websites, you pay them a certain amount of money, and they will send. What they do is they send your song to Spotify, Apple, and other stores, because these stores don't have a direct intake for artists, because they don't want to deal with the artists. And so what these people actually are is they're not distributors, they're what we call aggregators. Aggregators are services that take music from artists, format it right, and upload it to Apple. They're essentially people who are sitting on a computer. The artist sends them the MP3. They upload it on the computer interface, enter title, blah, 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 make sure that it's okay, and then hit send. Of course, most of that is automated. But a lot of people think that they're getting publishing, they're getting distribution, and they're getting many other things. But what they're actually getting is aggregation, which means somebody just simply forwards their music to Apple and says, please put it on the store. And if Apple had an interface where the artist could do that himself, you wouldn't need any of these sites. So the difference between an aggregator and a distributor is that the aggregator deals with the artists because the distributor doesn't want to. So a lot of these artists think that they have distribution when they actually have aggregation. But of course, these websites don't advertise themselves. We are an aggregator that doesn't really distribute anything. We just take your stuff and send it to somebody else. It's like forwarding an email. It's exactly what it is. They're forwarding emails, and people think, why is my song not successful? And that is very funny for me.
And the sad thing is, a lot of these artists are truly talented.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of them have great music, and it's just a shame that the only possible outlets these guys have outside of the record label is something like this, and so limited. But the aggregator as well, or like these distributed companies, so-called, is they don't have any kind of vetting process.
No, they don't
care what you sound like. They don't care what your song says. They don't care what you look like. They don't care what your music sounds like at all. They
not
collect the money and they do their job.
Yeah, in fact, there was a guy from Bulgaria very early on, about 2 years ago, who submitted noise, who submitted like birds, etc., and he made hundreds of albums of him, trademarked to him, copyrighted to himself, with noise. And then he took a whole bunch of computers and played his own music on all of the streaming services over and over and over again. And he made hundreds of thousands of dollars because he didn't only do that with one computer. He was actually somebody who was a little bit of a hacker. And he got 100,000 computers to play his noise music. And Spotify had to pay him hundreds of thousands of dollars because they had not included a provision that you have to upload actual music. And for the most part, the aggregators don't care. The aggregators will upload anything. You can literally fart for 3 minutes and they'll upload it. And then if you have a lot of people listening to it, you'll get paid for it.
You just gave me an idea for my next single, George.
Yeah. Ken Tucker farts.
Yep.
Music from the bowel.
A gut full of blues, baby.
Yeah, and that actually became somewhat of a problem on the digital distribution services, that people would just upload, and the next trick then was to upload like songs that would be 4 hours long. So you could do that, or they would then, when they found out that you get actually paid per play, upload songs that were 5 seconds long. So since once they didn't have that, so they upload like 1,000 songs that are like, you know, and then they'll play all these, and for every play they get paid. Yeah.
I need that so I can sample that and put it into my next song. What you just did is beautiful. Just primeval.
Okay.
Well,
So-
I was in your interview this morning with Matthew Reed, which was wonderful. And Matthew's a great guy, great musician. I told him his voice kind of reminds me of late Beatles Paul McCartney or post Beatles early Paul McCartney.
Yep.
And it really does. I mean, and when you talk about songwriting and the content record companies are looking for, I run into this occasionally where some artists, even artists have been doing this a while, but especially younger ones, who are new to recording and new to songwriting, have this idea that because I wrote it and because I recorded it, it's a masterpiece. and I'm serious. I mean, some people think that they can't write or perform a bad song. And I'll tell you, my first songs for the first 2 years were just horrible, awful, terrible things. I mean, I'm embarrassed that I even wrote them. And it took me about at least 4 or 5 years before I wrote a song that was worth performing at all.
Yeah.
And but you know, the whole thing about time limits, like getting to the hook quick, getting to the vocals quick. I mean, it's not 1965, 1975 anymore. In the days of the Bohemian Rhapsody and Stairway to Heaven type of hit, that's a rare thing anymore. That's something that, even if it's a great song, I mean, but even Bohemian Rhapsody started out with vocals, and so did Stairway to Heaven. Well, no, nothing but Stairway to Heaven. Stairway to Heaven had that long intro in A minor and so on and so forth. And but it did get to the vocals within a relatively short amount of time.
Yeah.
And
I want to give a quick
ahead.
shout out to my boy Herman, who's watching us. How you doing, my man? He's a great friend of mine and has been in Russia for a long time, and he has interesting stories to tell. And I'm happy he's coming back to Austria. I'm going to talk with him on the phone after the show, and he's watching. So, hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, Herman, what's up, buddy?
That's right. So, what I wanted to say about that is that that exact topic came up yesterday in a call with an artist, and they said to me, this and this famous person is doing that and that. They're having a 1-minute intro. They're farting on their record. They're scratching a bucket. They're doing this, and people are loving it. So I should be doing it too. And what I always tell my artists is, you should never do what super famous people do, because people listen to super famous people because they're super famous. They will listen to the whole album because they know the artist. But for you as an unknown artist, the same thing will not work. You can literally take the same music that Kanye or anybody releases, release it under the name Joe Blow, the rap show, and people will say it's horrible and nobody will like it. And that has been done before by music journalists, and it's done over and over again. And sometimes I like to submit some of our chart hits to other reviewers to test them. And when people review the things that we have released, so we own the copyright for it. I can send it to them. And it has charted. And they say, yeah, oh, it's not very good. We're not picking it up for us. It's not the blah, blah, whatnot, you know? And at the same time, they will rate some 13-year-old boy who made music very crappily and say, yeah, that's not so bad. So there's you as an independent artist, as a starting artist, you cannot do the same things that famous people do and expect to succeed. You can do the same things, but you will fail.
I hold myself to the same what's the word I want? Standards that I hold everybody else to. I'm not going to put out a song that's a piece of crap. I'm going to write. I'm not, honestly, I mean, I don't want to write garbage. Well, some people don't care. They just want to be famous, and who cares how?
I think most people don't realize that they make garbage. I think most people that I review, and as some of you know, I review 6,000 demos every year. 99% of the people that send me garbage don't realize it's garbage. They are convinced it's very good. And they're like, why are you not signing me? I'm so very good. And it's usually the same people that if I give them some advice, they don't take it. Because, they're smarter,
When I submitted to you, I was waiting for you to rip me a new one and tell me how horrible I was, to be honest with you.
Really?
I said, well, he probably won't like this, but I'm sending it anyway. And I was surprised that you liked it. And I was glad you did.
Yeah.
And, but if you're going to start out as a songwriter, I like what Bob Seger said. He said, your first song is going to be horrible.
Yeah.
Write them anyway.
Of course.
You can't get to the good songs or the great songs that you are going to write before you write the crap songs. And that's the way it is. And I still write crap songs just to get to the good ones that I know are in there.
That's
I
right.
don't. I don't mean to record them. I just write them, and then that's out of the way. Throw it away.
Absolutely. It's people understand that if you want to become the best tennis player in the world, you have to train. So if you ask people, how many minutes do you need to train so you can beat Roger Federer? If you've never picked up a racket, people will say, oh, you're going to need to train for years. But if you ask people, how many years will you as a musician train before you get in the charts? They're like, 6 months. They fully acknowledge that to become a doctor, it takes years. To become a tennis player, it takes years. But music, that is just easy. It's some kind of like, boop, And I find that to be extremely funny, that people think that entertainment is a business where you don't need any kind of skill or practice or anything. You just, pop out your guitar, and you're done, Yeah.
Well, I'll give you a little insight on something. I thought I was going to take a shot at stand-up comedy at open mic night one time. Stand-up comedy just means getting up and telling a story.
Yeah.
Wrong, buddy. You have to have a sense of timing. You have to have direction. You have to have a focus. You have to have a stream of thought that's consistent and easy to follow and clever. To put it mildly, I was not going to be a stand-up comedian.
Oh,
I'm not
really?
going to. It'll never work. No, it'll never work. Never work.
I wouldn't have concluded.
Well, I can be funny, but I'm stupid funny when I'm sitting down and talking. But I don't have this. I don't have the skill of a comedian. But
yes, it's public speaking. It's public performance. You have to be the person for it, and you have to train it as well.
Yeah. But same thing goes for music. I mean, I had when I had guitar students, like I had 12, 13-year-old boys want me to teach them how to play guitar, and I'd ask them, first of all, what do you want to do? Do you want to do this for fun? Do you want to try to do it for a living, or how do you want to do it? And they said, well, I want to be a famous rock star. I want you to teach me how to play. I want to teach me how to play Back in Black. I'd ask him, do you know any chords? No. Do you know any scales? No. Do you know the notes on the neck? No. Have you ever picked up a guitar in your life?
No.
And then, well, a couple times. I said, how long do you think it's going to take for me to teach you the song? Oh, 10 minutes. Yeah. I said, buddy, I'm not going to teach you the song till you know the notes on the neck, the basic chords, and how to play the major and minor pentatonic scales. There's no point in me doing it. Yeah. And I lose more students because they don't want to have to put the effort in to learn this skill. They want it they want me to like take some holy water and splash it on them, and all of a sudden they can play like I do. And I told them I spent most of my weekends in high school I wasn't going to football games. I wasn't playing video games. I was sitting in my bedroom playing my guitar all day and all night, driving my dad completely insane. Yeah. Because he thought I couldn't learn a song because I was practicing my scales. And he'd come in my room, can you just play a song? Can you just play a song? So I'm learning I got to learn this stuff before I play a song.
That's right. By the way, Matt says hi. He said, good men can. New music coming soon, brother. Right on, buddy. Matt's a good man. I think the two of you have some kind of like fanboy bromance going on.
We're going to take over the world. We're going to start our own country.
I like it when my artists like each other. You know, I'll be like super excited to hear the first collab between you and Matt. It's probably going to be awesome.
Oh, we're going to do something cool, man. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I think it is.
And let's use Matt since he's on here for an example. I was listening to his music. It's so polished and so well put together.
Yep.
And I would put that on any radio station across the United States. And if no one knew he was an independent artist, that thing is right there with the big boys. He's that good.
Yeah. But it's not because we don't have that kind of money to propel him up there. And for us, it's an uphill battle. But I have to say I was very, very proud that we got into the Irish Apple charts. That was a major success and vindication for Matt's efforts over the last 30 years. So that was cool. And then there was another point that you said, because Gisela Lafeche also teaches, and she said the same thing. You know, she said she loses a lot of students, music students, every year because she doesn't tell their parents that their kid is super talented and is going to be the next famous musician, and it's only going to take a month or two. But she tells them, you know, you're not very good. You're going to have to practice for years before you're going to be good, you know. And people don't want to hear it. And also, Karma's T, Mike and Mistina, they also run a music school, and they also tell me the same thing, you know. They say, you know, you need to encourage the people, and it's a battle between being realistic and being truthful with your students and customers. And of course, kids, children, 13 plus, 13 to 18, they have no idea, you know. And a lot of people start a band, a lot of people start being a musician, but very, very few actually continue on the path to do so, you know. And that's also what I broke it down, like, I think last show, or I don't know, somebody asked me, you know, how many people are going to make it? And I said, well, it's very easy. 6,000 people send us a demo every year. 200 we okay. 100 write us back. With 50 we talk. 5 of them we sign. 2 of them make an album, and 1 of them makes a second album. And that's the one guy out of the 6,000 that becomes a professional musician. And that's how it is. And people are like, what?
Well, it amazes me at some of the new artists who I've, not just with you, in any arena, say any label, that all of a sudden they want to get signed. They want to put out a record. And then once they get signed, you got to like be on their case about when are you going to make this record? When are you going to? Well, we'll get to it. We've got to. So, okay, you're signed. You have this now you're dragging your butt.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't get it at all.
But
yeah,
it's nuts. And you know, when I remember when I signed with you, already had the project finished. That was one benefit. And then we created another one out of several of my other older ones.
Yep.
But I remember when I talked to you about doing the acoustic album first time, saying, look, I think it'd be a good idea to kind of, what I said, throw a curveball, because all my CD projects beforehand were big production, lots of instrumentation, background vocals, multiple, like they had organs, horns, drums, bass guitar, everything like that. I said, I thought it would be a good idea just for me to sit down with my acoustic guitar, my microphone into my laptop, and just play live right into the microphone.
Yep.
And I thought you were going, I don't know, but you said, Dad, great idea. Do it. And so I think it took me 4 days to record those 12 or 13 songs.
Yep.
And not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying my idea is if I got an opportunity to do something that I want to do, that I've been working my whole life to achieve, I'm not going to do anything that doesn't get me closer to my goal.
Yep.
And what I tell students when I talk to kids at high school or even college, when I talk about becoming a recording artist, I one of my big things I put out there is if there's anything that you're doing in your life right now that is hindering you reaching the goal of being a professional musician or whatever you're going for, you need to eliminate that. And
but the main thing hindering most people is that they're lazy. They spend their lives, and I've seen this with many artists, looking for people to help them. I need to record an album. Well, who's going to help me? I need to write a song. Well, who's going to help me? I need to rap. Well, who's going to help me? And I have to say that in my life, not only in music, my first thought was never who's going to help me, because the answer was always nobody. Saying, who's going to help me tells me that this person is either lazy, very entitled, or had a rich family or something. Because who's going to help you? Nobody. In this life, nobody helps you. If you have a wife or a partner or a husband who will help you, you're lucky. But you cannot expect in the music industry that somebody's going to come and record an album for you, and somebody's going to produce you, and somebody's going to do vocals for you, and somebody's going to help you songwrite, because nobody cares, because also you, artist, are only asking who's going to help me. You don't ask who can I help. I can tell you on one hand the amount of offers I got from artists on my label wanting to help other artists on my label, but I can tell you that there's been boatloads of requests for help. So a lot of people are asking for help, but very few are willing to give it. And
well, I better be one of those fingers.
Sorry, what?
I said I better be one of those fingers you're talking about counting.
I mean, you'll help anybody with anything. That is.
Well,
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, it's like when I don't come from a musical family so much. I mean, my mom was an amateur musician. Dad played some piano and trombone, but overall, going in the music business, I was on my own. when I started. I was so stupid when I went in. I was completely about the workings of the music business.
Yep.
And I found out real quick that the industry doesn't care if they crap on you. They're going to crap on you.
Yeah.
They're going to take your money and they're going to laugh at you while they're doing it.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to help new and young artists avoid. And I want to help them go into the industry with at least somebody watching their back.
Yeah.
And because, like I said, I made many trips to Nashville. I lost lots and lots of money over the years, and I got lied to, and I've got lots of false promises thrown at me that I believed. Naive. I think everybody's as honest as I try to be. No.
Yeah.
But the only person who, I realized real quickly that no one, especially my family, couldn't help me. They had no more idea about it than I did.
Yep.
They had no idea. They thought I was an idiot, which they're probably right. But the one thing that kept me going was the love of the music.
Yeah.
The fact that I knew that I wanted to play music. I wanted to be a recording artist. I wanted to be a performer. I wanted to be a songwriter. And I knew eventually if I was persistent and I kept creating and kept doing everything I could to make that goal that I set for myself to occur or to take fruition, that eventually something would click.
Yeah.
But I didn't have anyone holding my hand. And I didn't have anyone saying, well, you better get in the recording studio. You better write this song. Because if you don't, then, or hey, or someone say from Nashville give me a call. Hey, I know you're having a little difficulty with this recording. Let me give you some free recording time. Ain't going to happen. Yeah. And it's not. And another thing about that is I decided a long time ago, when I really want to do this, that I said, if I'm going to be a professional musician, professional songwriter, I better damn well be fantastic at it, as the best I can possibly be. And so I just dedicated my life musically to not only getting better, but constantly getting better.
Yeah.
And to this day, I know that there's things I can fix, I can do better, and I work at that all the time. I'll never be the singer I want to be. I listen to, like I said, when I listened to Matt earlier, it's like, daggum, that guy's got a great voice. And that was like, I listened to him, I was like, man, this guy's got a classically fantastic voice. And he writes great songs. Yep. You can hear in the song itself all the years of his work coming together in that song.
Yeah. That is it is a long road, and most people don't want to walk it. And when I ask people what they want to do, and they say I want to become famous, I'm very wary because that is not the correct motivation. If you want fame, then you're probably not going to succeed. And to the topic of families, since I had quite a few negotiations with families, many times families don't make it better. I lost a bunch of very talented artists to absolutely wrong advice from their family because their family believed that they can advise them because they love them so much, which is true, but they're clueless about the music industry. So their advice was well meant, but it was entirely wrong. And there was quite a few career enders in that bunch of people that are being advised by family, and at the very end of the day, the family will be happier for it, because many times that's what the family wants anyway, is for the guy not to succeed in music and instead just pick up a normal job and you know, what do? I'm an accountant. I work at a place where accountants work.
Yeah.
And do that. And I've seen spouses actively sabotage the careers of their better halves, and actively sabotage the talks between the artist and us, doing everything they can in order to prevent the artist from signing on the label, because they don't want their spouse to become a musician. They want their spouse to become a construction worker and stay with them in the little apartment, and I completely understand that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of destroyed careers that are because of well-meaning families.
Yeah.
So whenever you have your...
I'm blessed with a great wife who... I'm blessed with a wife who basically says, get your guitar and make money.
Yeah, well, there's always that case, you know. But so far, I have to say, out of all the families that I met, I think your situation is the only fortunate situation. Everywhere else where family was involved, they made it actively worse by pushing the artist to ask for things that are insane. And sometimes, and that was the funniest thing, they'll come and say the contract is not very good. And I said, which part do you mean? I mean, like, which sentence specifically? Yeah, it's not very good. I'm like, yeah, you're going to have to tell me a little bit more than it's not very good. My friend also says it's not very good. I'm like, you know, I'm willing to work with you. I'm willing to change it. But if you tell me where your problem is, maybe we can find a solution. Yeah, it's not very good. So
and that's the way it goes.
And it will continue, and I'll have absurd conversations to where the person can't even tell me what it is that they want. And at the end of a 3-hour conversation, they're like, yeah, well, I gave it to a friend who has some legal training who didn't understand it. Then I gave it to some guy at work, and he didn't understand it. And then I gave it to a lawyer and paid him for it, and he didn't understand it because he's not an entertainment lawyer and he can't speak English. And I'm like, this is exactly what I told you. I said to you, this is a very specific legal matter. You're going to have to either get an entertainment lawyer or understand it yourself, or you're going to have to trust me. But this is difficult. Do not think that you as a construction worker are going to be able to understand what's in there, because it took me months to understand what all of this crap means, because I, of course, was working off a template and then started slowly changing that template. It took me weeks to arrive at the final contract. Man.
Yep. And you're going to always have these self-proclaimed experts in everything.
Yep. That's right.
And they're not going to, basically they're wanting something for nothing.
Yep.
Or they're wanting so much that they're going to push so hard to get so much that it's going to be unreasonable for someone like you. You're finally going to say, look, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's their goal. I don't want my boyfriend to sign a record deal because it's, you know, so I'm going to make it as hard as it possibly can. Well, I look like I'm supporting him, but I'm really not.
That is exactly what happened.
That's a shame. That's a shame. And I'll tell you, I tell these people, like, especially, I've had this happen so many times, and I was kind of laughing with Tanya. But you got to keep in mind, in America, this is definitely an issue. But I'm going to bring up here. But out of all the offers I've made to different artists, about 80% of them ask me, how much is it going to cost me? Because there are these record labels in America, so-called record labels. I use that word very loosely.
Yeah.
That scam. They scam unsuspecting, desperate young artists who really want a record deal, and they're about ready to do anything to get it.
That's right.
And they get these offers like, well, if you give us $750, we'll have you in the studio here in Nashville, Tennessee, with Nashville musicians. We'll cut 2 of your songs, and we'll put it on. We'll get it on a demo, or we'll get it on a compilation disc that's going to 1,000 radio stations.
Yep.
Well, I got one of these, and I knew that one of my friends got one, and they're all excited about it because they're going to get my song's going to be on the radio, and they're going to put it to we're in Nashville, and we're going to record. So let me try something. So I said I got basically got the same letter. I called the place. I asked them. I think I've told you this before. I'm going to say it again for those of you who have not heard this yet.
Yeah, you did, but it's a good story.
But I'm going to share it with people who have not heard this yet because someone might need to hear this.
Oh yeah.
I called the so-called record label, who used a name close enough to a major label that was kind of deceiving. Well, it was very deceiving, but I just saw that he spelled it with one different letter.
Yeah.
And so it made it look like it was actually from this record company. But I called the guy and I said, I got your offer for the $750 recording situation for radio stations, 7,000 radio stations. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I said, okay, let me ask you a couple questions real quick. How many, it's 1,000 radio stations in America or worldwide? Oh, worldwide. It's going to be over the world. Okay. How many discs are going out on this compilation disc? And the guy said 10.
Yeah.
I said, how many artists per disc? And he said 20.
No.
And so I said, so if I do this, I'm going to have one song. Because you get 2 songs, but you're only going to put one of the songs on there. But you get 2 songs recorded. I said, I'm going to have one song on a compilation with 199 other artists going to 1,000 stations. Is that correct? So, yep. I said, do I have any guarantees I'll get airplay? He said, well, no. So here's the thing. I would rather be one artist on one disc going to 100 stations.
Yep.
I get a lot better chance of getting airplay. And he started this whole rant and rave on me like I didn't know what I was talking about and called me and nothing and everything. So I basically called him a couple of names that I'm not going to say on this broadcast, and basically told him he can go pleasure himself. And then, but I told my friends, this is the worst idea you could have. And I go back to when Larry Norman, when I was playing for him, we were talking about that situation. He said, Ken, if any record company ever wants you to pay them to get a record deal, they're not a record label, they're a scam. And he said, you'd be better off recording your own music and doing your own thing. And if you don't have distribution, at least you can record your own music and get it to who you want to get it to some way. And you'd be better off doing that, because that $750,000 you could spend on that nonsense down there. And I'll tell you another thing they do, is they use Nashville musicians in a Nashville studio. That doesn't mean they're good musicians, and that doesn't mean it's a good studio. There's 150,000 musicians in Nashville, and only about 100 of them are worth anything as far as musicianship goes.
Yep.
So having Nashville musicians record for you in a Nashville studio, is meaningless. I recorded most of my albums up north of Indiana, and that studio, Tim Bashong's studio, and I recorded with Virgil down in Linton, Indiana, in his studio. Both those guys are phenomenal engineers and producers.
Some kind of hammering in the background.
Yeah. I think he's breaking ice. But Virgil and Tim Bashong both produced my different albums of mine. Both of them did phenomenal jobs. Nowhere near Nashville. Not even next state over. They're you don't have so you just you got to watch everything you do. And one thing that I do too is when I wasn't with you, when I was between labels, that didn't keep me from recording my music. There's no law that says you have to be signed to a label to record music.
That's right.
The whole goal, not the goal, but the way to reach the goal. The whole thing is to keep working on your craft.
Yeah.
The more you do, the better you'll get.
That's right. But so many people, they want to, I think now that it's become easier, they immediately want to try. They want to try their luck. They want to try to be famous. So I get a lot of music from people who are obviously years away from being anywhere near a recording studio, and they insist that they must release their music on Spotify and they must release their music on Apple because they want to be musicians with music that is released. And I understand that, but many times they're not really doing a favor to themselves, because a lot of times, and that's also something I tell artists, if the music is very bad, it's actually bad for you. You're losing some money, but nobody's going to touch that artist the second time or listen to you, etc. So you're not really doing yourself a favor by putting your first year of music stuff and plastering it all over the place, spamming people with it and saying, I'm so good, I'm so good. I'm so good, I'm so good, I'm so good. And I have a lot of these people that tell me that they're so great. And then when I review them, I give them my input, they mostly ignore it and continue to spam, I'm so good, as if to convince themselves, like a mantra, Like, I'm so good, I'm so good, I'm so good. Weird.
Well, yeah. It is. It's a lot of self-delusion. If you have to tell people how good you are, chances are you're not.
Yeah.
And I know a truckload of guitar players who can just absolutely outplay me. And I know a lot of singers who can definitely outsing me. And when it comes to songwriting, I think I'm pretty good. I don't think I'm great, but I'm pretty good because I've been working at it. Because I set standards for myself and I adhere to those standards. But when it comes to musicianship, I'm pretty average, to be quite honest.
Yeah, but the formula is, I think, to be a good songwriter if you want to be successful with your music. Because there's a lot of very talented musicians and there's a lot of very talented singers, but what they are lacking is possibility of production, number one, and number two, songwriting capabilities. So there's a lot of people that come to me and say, I can sing well or I can play the guitar well, but the people that are usually successful are people that can make a great song. And then even if the singing is average, it doesn't matter. And if the guitar playing is average, it doesn't matter either. And people said, the Beatles and the Beatles this and the Beatles that. Shit, the Beatles recorded with studio musicians. They hardly played at all on their recorded tracks. It was all somebody else playing in the studio. And then when it was live, it was just mostly screaming. So what did they contribute? Songwriting. They wrote the songs that other people played and recorded for them. Of course, that wasn't public knowledge. and then they performed and they did the jumping, hands up in the air. So I think at the core of every success is a good songwriting capability. And that's what's actually the same between you and Matt. You're both really good songwriters.
Well, the song's a product, isn't it? I mean, the song is what we're selling. Songs. We're selling our songs, and we're writing songs about whatever we can, whatever we experience, whatever we feel, whatever we believe, whatever we think about. And I was telling Matt the thing. I write songs that I put in ways that minister to my moment.
Yeah.
And I write songs that are for me initially. And I write them in hopes that someone else might be able to relate to it. Yeah. And since I'm a human being, I figure that I'm not the only person who experiences a variety of things. And when I do write a song and someone comes up to me and says, "Man, that song really meant something to me," that's a lot of my reward right there.
Yeah.
And when songwriting, without songwriters, there is no music industry at all, except it's a bunch of people making noise. And there's some like guitar players, like say some shredders. And I'm not going to name names because I don't think it's necessary. But especially like in the '80s when the big shredding guitar thing was going.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted to play fast. Everyone wanted to do these crazy classical riffs over rock and roll stuff. There's guys writing a song specifically for the specific reason to shred over.
That's right.
And not that that's a bad thing. There's an audience for that. I admit that. There's an audience for people. It's a niche audience. By the same token, can you name any of those songs? I don't know. Unless you're a metalhead who just really loves that shredding. I can't name one of them. But the songs that influenced me from some great songwriters, like Bob Dylan, who I love, Neil Young, and like I said, the Beatles. I'm a Beatles fanatic. Jimi Hendrix songs, Creedence Clearwater Revival. I can name a lot. These are guys who influenced my songwriting, and the blues singers like Lightnin' Hopkins and Howlin' Wolf and Freddie King and Bobby Brandt and Solomon Burke, and guys like Walter Trout, who's a great blues player who I still follow. He's phenomenal. These are guys whose songs I can name because they influence me. They're playing on the song, but they didn't write the song specifically to play the guitar over. They had us in the song. The story was a song, and the song was written, and it wasn't just poetry with 3 chords thrown on it. It was thoughtful lyrics, thoughtful music, made to be married together in one cohesive unit.
Yep.
Songwriting is so much more than just playing 3 chords and saying "Oh baby" over the top of it.
Oh baby.
And Larry Norman, again, who's one of my biggest influences. He was the father of Christian rock music. I played for him, learned so much. I remember his advice to me as a songwriter. And when I asked him how, he was considered one of the greatest songwriters of the 20th century, period. Mm-hmm. And he has one of his albums in the Library of Congress. That's how influential this guy is. And I asked him during one of our tours, we were sitting down, he was listening to my CD, and we're listening to my CD. I felt so weird because I never thought I'd ever meet the guy, let alone play for him. It's like I was sitting there like I was geeking out real big, But he said, "I want to hear one of your CD. Bring me your CD. I want to listen to it." So I took it to the hotel room, and we put a CD player on. And first thing he did, he played the first 10 seconds of the first song. Yep. Click next. First 10 seconds of the second song. Okay. Next. First 10 seconds of the third song. Not so much. Next. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm doing what record labels do."
That's right.
He said if you don't catch their attention in the first 5 or 10 seconds, then they're done. They don't care.
That's right.
And he said the key to great songwriting, there's several. Number one, write songs that a third grader can understand, but an adult can appreciate.
Yeah.
And said number two, don't write a book. They said he goes, the Beatles wrote hit songs that are 2.5 minutes long. You need to take notes.
Yeah.
They said if you can't fit the lyrics to your entire song on one side of a piece of typing paper, it's too long.
That's right.
And then finally he said, don't underestimate the power of everyday words. When you try to go into these songs, and I know a lot of songwriters who have done this, who try to use big words and very heady words, very intellectual words, he goes, you won't sound smart, you'll sound arrogant. And said, write songs that have a story, they have a beginning, middle, and end. Think about what you want to say. Don't deviate from the subject. Don't go all over into tangents. Stay focused on action with the beginning and the middle and the end, all straight line. And tell your story the effective way possible, but the most artistic way possible. And so I take that advice every time I write a song.
Yep. And of course, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I always add musically. But the listening is what it is. People don't understand that. But people are like, why are you not listening to my song for 90 seconds? And I am. Please listen to 3:30. And the problem is that most songs, after you heard them for 5 seconds, you've heard them all. Because what they do is they repeat the same for 4 bars. They have a 1, 2 to 3 second thing that they made, and then they just stretch it out for 3.5 minutes, repeating it over and over again. And there's like, I always think of you when I think about variation, you know. So little variation, always the same. And of course, there's some genres where this is okay. Like electronic music is sometimes very repetitive, and you kind of like want that. But still, good electronic music has a sophistication. And the same thing with the Beatles. The Beatles songs are deceptively simple, but they're not repetitive. And there's a difference between simplicity and repetitiveness, because there can be a great solution that's simple, but it's not necessarily repetitive.
Well, the repetition is necessary in songwriting.
That's right.
But repetition doesn't have to be redundancy.
Yep.
And if you write a song and you want to record it, there's got to be variation. There's got to be variation. There's got to be dynamics. There's got to be, there's got to be repetition of themes. Thematic repetition, chord repetition. I mean, you can have, like, say there's a verse, a chorus, and a bridge. The verse, and even the verse, you can vary it up some. You know, like where you can do chord replacement. Like one of my songs, when I want to go into the bridge, I'll be playing the verse to the point where the bridge will come in. Instead of playing the normal chord, I'll throw in the relative minor to introduce the bridge. Or I'll do maybe a diminished chord to introduce the bridge, or introduce one of the choruses.
Yeah.
And like one of my songs called I Believe the Lie. It has the same verse and chorus. And then you get to, the bridge is almost at the end, just like before the last chorus. And it sounds like it's going into part of the verse, but it's actually the bridge, and it changes a lot of chord replacement there. So it'll change the the overall color of the song in that particular part.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm writing, and I had a great songwriting teacher named Jim Saprodi who introduced me to all kinds of different music. That was one of his things too. He would talk about chord replacement and stuff like that. And when I write anything, first thought is, what kind of song is this going to be? How do I want it to? What kind of tempo am I looking to put into this? And then what kind of chord progression fits the lyrics logically and still has an emotional impact? And then how am I going to differentiate the verse and the chorus and the bridge? And what kind of transition tools do I want to use? Do I want to do any time signature changes? Like in my acoustic version of Simone, the introduction is in a completely different key than, well, no, I think it might be in the same key. Yeah, it's in the same key, but it starts off in F, works up to G, then A minor. But the parts between the verses is in a completely different time signature than the song itself. It starts out in 3/4, but the verse is in 4/4. And so I'm just thinking, what am I going to do with a song to make it stand out, to make it entertaining, to make it easy to listen to, make it enjoyable, and keep someone wanting to listen to the whole song.
That's right. That's right. It's the same, by the way, in electronic music. What I always tell people to do is, for example, you want a certain element to be very repetitive, and it's repeated all over the song. But it doesn't mean that all through the song, the same instrument has to repeat the element. So you could play a part of your song with a different instrument. Since you're already making the music on the computer anyway, you already don't have anybody coming in. You don't need to record it. So let the bass play let the bass play the chord. You know, you essentially keep the bass note of the chord, remove all the other notes, let the bass do it. Next, and then you'll let some strings play it, and then you'll let a piano play it, and then you'll let some other instrument play it, and it's still the same. It's still the same chord. It's still the same chorus, but it will be sonically different. And of course, when you're playing guitar and you're playing one instrument, you have to do more variation within that instrument because you're physically playing a guitar. But when you're making electronic music, it's so super easy. You just switch out the instrument and the same notes will sound completely different. And Polydeuce is on here, which is Brandon.
Yeah.
And he says, alternatively, do you ever just play and let the song write itself? That is, without being too premeditative.
Is he asking me? I'm sure he is.
No, of course he's asking you. Why would anybody ask the talk show host? Ask the host.
Well, sometimes I'll let the song write itself on occasion, but that's a rare occasion. Honestly, and even when I do that, I always go back in and make adjustments.
Yeah.
Because I'm just a kind of, each person's different. Let's put it that way. Each person who is a songwriter writes differently.
Yeah.
And I am a bit anal about my songs.
Yes.
I'm not anal about a lot of stuff, but my songs, that's one of the things I'm anal about. And I'm never completely happy with a song. I always think I could have done more. There's a point where you got to say, okay, I got to put it down. But my way of working is I work through it, and I work through it using that way of thinking, and it's worked for me so far. I mean, but like I said, everybody's different, and who was it asked me if I get lyrics first or music first, and it's always different. I mean, sometimes I get lyrics. Sometimes I just write a stream of consciousness and lyrics, and I go through and edit. Other times I get like Brother Whiskey started out as a musical riff.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was playing, I just came up with this cool chord progression in F sharp minor to A with a C sharp added, and then up to B minor, and then and then the rest of it goes to D, D minor, then D flat, then B, then back to F sharp minor, and I had that riff for months. I couldn't come up with lyrics for it, and then I was digging through some of my earlier lyrics, just digging through, and found Brother Whiskey's lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, I wonder if these will work together. And they just feel like hand in the glove. I didn't have to try too hard there. But again, that's a rarity. That's rare. I remember when I wrote One Stop Man, we're on the way, my wife and I were coming back from a date of all things, on the way back from Evansville, Indiana, which was about 80 miles from where we lived.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the first three verses come to me. And then I had the first three verses. I couldn't come up with the four. I wanted four verses. I didn't want just three. I wanted four of them. And so I told Marcia, I said, look, I'm writing a love song for you. And I got three verses written in my head. I'm going to write them down when I get home. But I need your help. Can you come up with an idea for a fourth one?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, what's the name of the song? I said, well, it's called One Stop Man. And she said to me, well, come up with a verse about a gas station, because they call gas stations one stops. And okay, I'm going to give you credit for this line. So I came up with a line and I told it to her. And she goes, please don't give me credit for that. But I think it's a clever, now she likes the song. I'd sing it, well, she'd come to my shows and I'd sing it. And when I told her, my wife wrote the last verse of this song, and she'll yell, no, I didn't. I didn't write it. But now she requests it. But she had to get used to it. Yeah. But the line is, pull up to my pump, I can fill your tank. All you got to do is give my hose a yank.
Okay.
And she said, don't give me credit for that. But see, I tell you what, whenever I play that, and I tell that story and there's another thing, crowd engagement.
Yeah.
A lot of artists don't know about crowd engagement.
That's right.
I'll sit and talk to the crowd like they're in my front room.
Yeah.
I pretend this is my giant front room, and you're all my guests. And I'll tell a story about the song. Yeah. And you'd be surprised how many people are waiting to hear that last line, just to hear what it was. And what kind of, and I get especially from the blues fans, love that. You hear people just start laughing their heads off after I sing that line. And it's just all about, like it said from the beginning, it's all about the song. The song, if we're not writing great songs, I don't care how good of a musician you are. I don't care how good of a singer you are. I don't care if you can sing like Pavarotti and play like Eric Clapton or Elton John or whoever. If the song sucks, the song sucks. Period. And no matter how much you polish it, a turd's still a turd.
Yeah, and I think one thing that you said about the entertainment industry is also very important, that you're, as an entertainer, you're here to entertain your fans. And I find that a lot of people don't know that, even though it seems to be completely obvious. But a lot of people approach their craft from the standpoint that they want their fans to adore them and they want to be famous. So it's what I want from the crowd. But as an entertainer, you're somebody who gives to the crowd. You are there to entertain people. You're there to interact with them. And this is what I also see a lot on the label. I'll see myself running lots of advertisement, trying to promote the artists. And then I see artists engaging in destructive content on social media or not promoting their stuff at all. They're essentially sitting there waiting for things to happen. But how many people are using the Corona time to engage with their fans? And I don't mean spam posting pictures of your dog. I mean meaningful engagement with your fans, you know? A lot of people, we can't even bother them to send us high-quality pictures of themselves because they're like, oh, it's so difficult, everything is so difficult. And here you are trying to be an entertainer for masses, and you can't even engage with the 5 fans you have. Who are these 5 fans? Do you know them? How are you engaging them? How are you talking with them? And sometimes I'm a little bit frustrated on how little artists engage with their fans. We make this e-commerce suit for them to where people can donate, can buy their stuff. They never post a link. Then they ask me, how much have you sold? You know, the best-selling artists on the label are me, you, and Matt. And everybody else is far, 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 far below that. And the reason
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
And the reason for that is because I think that these are people that do engage. I mean, Matt just made a great album, but he's available for stuff. He engages very much.
Yeah.
I'm always somewhere, and you do the best you can to engage. But there's a lot of people who have no presence at all and no meaningful presence. Because, you know, posting pictures of things that are not related to your musical career, or like, you know, yesterday I got drunk, that was so cool, doesn't really help you as an artist. Sorry. That topic of self-promotion is a sore one. I mean, I have people like, for example, Karma's T, who do a great job promoting themselves. But I have people who haven't in their lives ever promoted themselves in any way. And then it becomes exceedingly difficult to promote them as a label because even when you give them a platform, they don't engage with fans.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Well, and, that's all right. I mean, engagement's everything. And I was going to talk, you know, as far as like the new artists go, we're going to see how they do. Brandon's going to do great. I've performed with Brandon, and I've seen Brandon work a crowd phenomenally. Brandon crowd.
Good.
And he puts out great music, and he's teaching as an artist. He has a real great stage presence, and his songs are intelligent and they're well crafted. So guys like Brandon, he's a veteran. You know, he understands how this works. The younger artists who are not veterans, who need some help, that's the ones who I really want to impress on the fact that when you're a songwriter and you're on stage, you are the product.
Yeah.
The audience isn't there to entertain you. You're to give them something of yourself, musically, emotionally, spiritually. You're providing them a way of, I guess, for lack of a better word, escape. And they're there to hear what you're going to offer. Yeah. And if you're getting in the music business because you want to be famous and you want to be rich, well, I'd say, do something else. Because that first of all, it's a sign that they really don't want to put forth the effort to do what it's going to take. Because if you want to be famous in the music industry and you want to make money, then you got to be willing to, you got to be willing to put in the time. You got to be willing to engage your audience. You got to be willing to put out the content that's really good, and you got to be willing Also, and this is something that I have a lot of um, see a lot of trouble with is to emotionally distance yourself from your songs.
Mm-hmm.
Not because you don't want them to be emotional, just because you don't want to fall in the same uh, ditch where you're saying this song can't be improved or this song is great because I did it. And I had, there was a time I was that way. I got to admit, when I was a younger artist, I was writing songs and I thought they were great until I heard great songs put up next to them. And then I realized how crappy my songs were. And I had to start learning the art of songwriting. And, going back to Brandon, his song, like I said, his songwriting, dude, I tell you what, he's unique and he's got one of the coolest, it's just a cool vibe with his music. Every time I watch him, when we play together live, and I watch him in different settings, he's so comfortable with it is on stage, and he knows how to make an audience member feel like they're just them too, and he's just jamming for them.
That's right. Hey, Tanya says, "Love your voice, Ken."
Yeah, her check's in the mail.
Hey, I haven't received a check. What? Are we
you didn't
money?
get yours
Are we
yet?
making
Well,
money somewhere?
I'll get on that, George. I'll get right on
that. All right. We got 5 minutes left before the 2 hours are up.
Okay.
And I want to thank you for coming on today, even though we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. But
you've had me on so many times. You know it's going to happen.
No, the last time was actually great. You were sitting in that room. We had everything set up. The only thing that was messed up was the audio quality because we had noise compensation on, and then that kind of like messes with you when you're trying to play. But today was a little bit crappy. The picture was not so clear, but what you said was very good, and I think it's always very nice to have you on to talk about.
Well, no one wants to see my ugly mug anyway.
That's not true. But I think that this is part of what you can offer some of your artists. You can offer 30 years of real experience of having been in many different places and ups and downs and failures and successes and everything like that. I think that's invaluable, but a lot of young artists don't value that. They think that they're going to do it on their own. They don't need the experience of somebody else, and generally they end up failing always.
Once they get crapped on about 5 or 6 times, and they get a little slapped reality, then they're going to realize. Realize that they're not as smart as they thought they were. That's what it took for me. By
the way, look, Tanya said everyone is getting their own tour bus.
Yeah,
that is so great, Tanya. When I go to America for my tour that you're going to organize for me, I'm going to get my own tour bus. That's very nice.
Yeah. Well, she's not telling you
Ken and I want to go on tour together. What?
Yeah. She's not telling you they're old broken down Volkswagen microbuses.
Ken and I are going to go on tour together. We're going to make electronic country music.
Well, yeah, I guess. I'm not a country. Well, you keep saying I'm a country player, George, but I do play country.
Blues, sorry.
I forgive you this time, but don't let it happen again, mister.
Yes.
No, that's all right. It's all right. I'll take it.
That's wow. Tanya says more info is coming. That is great. She says she loves C and W.
Country and Western.
Oh, country and Western.
Yeah.
So funny. I don't know, these.
That's cowboy music. I can.
Cowboy music. CM cowboy
I like
music.
it. Yeah. It's better than pop country. I'll say that. I don't like pop country at all. But
well, It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. We're gonna tour America, and then we're gonna tour Europe. It's gonna be super fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure that my better half will be very enthusiastic if I just leave for half a year and go somewhere else.
Finally, I can get some cleaning done.
No, I don't think so. He's gonna be like, "Are you insane? You're too old. Stay home. Run the label."
Oh yeah. I bet.
Okay.
I bet she'd want to come with you, wouldn't she?
Oh yeah. I mean, the kids are in school. That's the problem, you know.
Yeah,
We'd
take
have
them
to
out.
figure out something there, and we'll see. Okay, Tanya says she interviewed a great artist today too. Awesome. We're not going to say who it is because we don't do that.
That's right. We don't drop names here at Count Zero.
Nah, because sometimes it doesn't happen, and then people are asking. So I kind of I like to make those formal announcements, and then people are really excited. I don't want to talk about it too much before it actually happens. Yeah, I got all of the links, and I'm sure it's going to be extremely interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm signing the Rolling Stones tomorrow, so.
Yeah, right. I'm signing the Beatles tomorrow.
Oh wow! Have a dual signing.
Yeah, we're gonna have a dual signing ceremony, and all the dead Beatles have been replaced by clones.
Yeah,
they cloned them from their hair.
I'll tell you what I think it would be an amazing idea, but I don't think I'll ever do it. Is
what?
The sons of the Beatles together and redo the Beatles?
Yeah, but I don't know if they're gonna have the musical talent.
Oh, I think they do. I've heard James McCartney and Danny Harrison and Zach Sarkey and either Sean or Julian Lynn could do it. I mean, they're both amazing.
Oh well, maybe we could do it.
I'll talk to him, George. Let's give him a call.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna call him.
That'll happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be a few years before we approach the huge artists. It's gonna be like a year or two. But it's everything is going good so I would like to say thank you for coming on. I wish you all the best for St. Jerome Music. I'm very happy with how it's going with you and with Tanya and her label, and everything in our little Count Zero group is developing just fine. I hope that Corona is over soon, but we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel at the moment. And then when that is over, we're all gonna go on tour together in 22, and we're just gonna I don't know, do something or drive around America and have fun. And then you're going to come here.
Yep.
And do some touring and some touristy stuff as well. You got to set aside time for touristy stuff.
The only thing I want to really do, once I'm there, and you're going to have to make this happen, brother. I want to go to Liverpool and go to the Cavern.
What? Why?
It's where the Beatles played in their early shows.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if what kind of venue it is at the moment.
It's still a live music venue.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Except you have to be you got to be fancy schmancy to get to play there.
Yeah, probably. But I've never been a great fan of England. I think it's overpriced, cold, and yucky food. They do have good music there. It's interesting, but everything else is horrible. I like Ireland much more, actually.
I liked food in England when I was there. I had some good meals in England.
Really? What did you eat? It couldn't have been English. When they cook, it's horrible.
I had lots of eggs and ham and toast.
Okay. I'm not even going to talk about that. And Tanya is in. Tanya wants to come too. Now we're going to go we're gonna go to some national parks in Croatia, which are super beautiful. We're gonna do, the great barbecuing that they do there, which is called
And you know what?
peka.
And we're going to be famous in Croatia, brother. We're going to be the biggest thing Croatia ever saw.
Really? I'm not sure. Croatia itself is a country that the Croats themselves are listening very much to Croatian music. And the entertainment that's provided there is mostly for the tourists. So when you're playing there, you won't be necessarily playing for Croats, but instead of playing for tourists who are there for the summer,
Well, I'm going to change that whole thing. I'm going to go over there and just run the whole thing.
But I do have some friends in Zagreb, in the capital, that are regular bar players, and there in the capital of Croatia, there's actually bars and clubs and a scene that appreciates blues. There's actually multiple blues bars in Zagreb, and that would be a prime place for you to actually play. I think the last time they had an American blues player there was 10 years ago. And Gaetano says, "Oh my God, what? What's happening? Is something happening?"
I don't know.
It's still a pub? What? What is, oh my God? I want to visit the castles in Austria. Absolutely. We're going to do that. It depends on, Tanya, it depends on how well you are on foot. Because all of these castles, the only way to approach them is through the traditional ways. And it's super awesome to do that, which means you're going to climb up the mountain like they did 700 years ago. But you got to be well on foot if you want to explore the Austrian castles. But it's
that
totally
rules me
worth
out.
it. Yeah, why? You're
Why?
good. You're good. Yeah, we're gonna train you. You're gonna be so good. We have
Better get
one
on a
of our,
CrossFit.
one of our castles that a lot of people visit now actually has an elevator, so that people that aren't so hot with climbing can get up there as well. Yeah, and on foot you can do it. Yeah. Okay, so we're all gonna have a very awesome time exploring Europe, and then we're gonna go to America. Slide on your donkey, Ken. Tanya says to slide on your donkey.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna bring a donkey.
We'll name it George.
Nah.
George the donkey.
No, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea. No, castles, the castles and the armory and everything. You'll love it. It's really something else. And there's what actually Gaetano likes the most is Castle Rigasburg, because not only is it the largest war castle in the world, and it was never taken, and it defended the Western world against the Turkish invasions, but it has a griffin station on there, where they have a whole lot of these huge predatory birds that they have trained, and they have an awesome griffin show there.
So when I think of a griffin, I think of a lion's body with a head of a hawk or an eagle or something.
No, they have eagles and vultures and hawks and milans and all kinds, and owls, and they fly free because the castle is built on a huge rock, and when you drop, when the bird flips off, the drop is 700 meters down. It's
Holy crap.
The castle is literally built on a huge rock, and it looks crazy. Hold on, maybe I can actually pop it up here.
That sounds terrifying.
Huh?
Sounds terrifying.
No, it's not terrifying. It's totally cool. It's totally cool. And you're gonna... hold on, let me stop screen sharing. I'm gonna screen share this. All right, let's bring this in.
Here it comes, people. There it comes.
and it looks really, really. Hold on, see it here. Come on.
That's big.
Yeah. It. Hold on. Bum bum bum. Maybe like this. Yep. And this is just the approach to the castle, and the castle itself actually stands on a even bigger hill that you can see like from really, really, really far away, and it's really, really cool. And there's wine and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, good times, good times.
Good times.
Oh, never
Rock
seen
and
a
roll.
donkey race before. My brother has donkeys. We have a donkey. And Gaetano says in Croatia they have donkey races.
That sounds like a party.
Yeah, Regensburg is awesome. We go up there, which we spent the whole day there. You know, we go up there. Then once we're up there, we go and eat something because they have a little restaurant where you can sit and enjoy the view. Then we go look at the castle, get the guided tour. Really cool. Then we go to the Griffin show, and then we go home, and it takes the whole day. And it's everybody who sees it says it's awesome. Because it is.
Yeah.
And
Did
it's
they
the
use
reason,
livestock to fight battles? They threw livestock over the
reason
castle
why
wall.
we are not Muslims, by the way. The reason why we are not Muslims is because of Regensburg. Because it was that castle that the Turks could never take.
So they put a cow. They put a big cow on a like a trebuchet or something and throw it over and crush her.
They try to, but when you get there, you will see that the rock that the castle on is on a mountain, and that mountain is very steep, and the Turks had to attack it from the very bottom. So the war machines didn't actually reach the castle to shoot at the castle because it's so steep. And they tried to take it. They tried to take it multiple times, and they've always failed. And it's one of the few castles in the world that was never taken, and it protected the Western world from the Turkish invasion, and it was the end point of the invasion. They went around it, went to Vienna, and then got beat at Vienna, and that was it. And that's the reason why we're still Christians today, because the Austrians definitively defeated the Turks 3 times with these 2 castles. You know, Vienna with the big city, and of course Regensburg, who could never been taken, and who was the main military base, I get you would say in those times. See, now you get a history lesson from me.
But could they write a song?
Yeah, you could totally write a song about it.
I might.
And,
I just didn't know if they could.
Yeah.
We can be the Turks, but we can't write a song.
Well, nowadays it's not politically correct to say it, but it is a fact that if we had lost at Regensburg, the Turks would have taken Austria, which would have put so much pressure on Vienna that it would have fallen. And if Austria would have fallen, the Turks would have had the opportunity to invade the rest of Europe. And then not only Spain would have become Muslim, but the rest of Europe would have become Muslim, most likely. So there's that.
Thank you, Professor Mavridis.
Yes, you can, you know, with me you can always learn something.
Hey, it's always a party.
Yeah, no, it's fun. You know, there's not many things that people know Austria for, and there's actually a lot of history that happened in Austria, but not many people know it because nowadays we're not a big country anymore, and so people generally don't care. All right.
I care.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Thanks for being here to all of the people that are listening to us. We definitely love you all. Ken said to me, I love all the viewers of Record Label Boss, of Count Zero Records TV.
Every one of them.
Every single one of them.
Every
That's
single
right.
one of
What
them.
he said. That's what he said to me. And thank you so much for being on the show. Check out Count Zero Records Premium Music. Great product for yourself or for your streamer friend if you want to license music or if you just want to listen to our artists' music. You're going to see me next tomorrow, 2000 Central European Time, with record label boss, the A&R Show, where we're going to review about 60 songs, again, right here on this station. Thank you so much, Ken, for being on tonight. Thank you for the audience for chatting so much. Gaetano and Tanya and everybody else. And I'll see you next Sunday for the next Backstage Pass with AViiO. And we bid thee farewell.
Fare thee well.
Fare thee well.